Okay, so the next thing I want to look at is actually how the expansion of illuminated manuscripts is being incorporated into something like this cover of a Bible here. So we see this is wood, and then over the wood they put gold, but the gold, they hammer the gold from behind, and so you have these raised surfaces here like this, and in the angels here, and this technique is called repoussé. And then they've added also in stones that are pearls, sapphires, garnets, emeralds. So you can see this is going to be worth a lot of money. So this shows a couple of things. This shows, one, just the sheer wealth of the church at this time period and how the church is growing in power and wealth. But we have also that we have certain people that are owning books, such as people within the church, and then you would have the king, the queen, these kinds of people very high in society that are owning books. But the commoners at this time are still, it's actually against the law for them to own books. They're not learning how to read and write, and this is a way, in essence, that the church and the king, the government, is controlling the people at this time period. And we'll see what that leads to in a little bit. Then we move into the 10th century, the art of Spain and the Antonian Empire. So in Spain, we have this very interesting mixing of things that begins to take place, because we have Judaism, Catholicism, and Islam, and the Islam religion all intermingling in Spain in very interesting ways. So you have an image like this that was created in Spain in 940 to 945, and this is showing the Last Judgment, but it's also doing it in a very bizarre way, because nowhere in the Bible can you show me any written thing about a seven-headed dragon. But yet we have the seven-headed dragon here. And then we have the devil or a demon down here. We have angels that are literally throwing the people that are damned down into hell. We have the judgment here, people being judged, and then coming up to heaven here. So it's a very bizarre kind of image. Again, this layering of all these different influences that are happening and coming into Spain at this time period are creating images like this. And next we have the Antonian Empire. I think I may have a map. No, okay. So this is going to be in the northern part of Europe, up past like Germany, in that area. And in this, then we have really a return to more sculpture, but in a very interesting way or unique way, that they want to show like the suffering, the angst of the people. And also through religious imagery. So when we look at this image, this crucifix, we see Jesus really hanging there. You can see the muscles that are taut here. You can see the belly that's extended here after death, the head that hangs forward. And the idea is that this is not a great time to be living. It's a very difficult time in circa 970. A lot of, plagues and death and hardship. So you, as the commoner, you're supposed to look at an image like this and say, like, Jesus suffered and he died on the cross for us, and for that I will have a better afterlife. So it's okay that my life here on earth at this very moment is just absolutely miserable and horrible, because I will have a better life because I believe what the church is telling me. We also have our first grand bronze doors that are created in this area of Germany. This dates to 1015, and these are telling stories of the Old Testament and the New Testament on these bronze doors. And we'll see doors like this repeated again and again moving forward and into the Renaissance. This brings us to the Nave Church here in Germany. It was begun in 961, and then consecrated in 973. And the nave is this open space here. So that is really what is being focused on in this space, in this church. We have our Roman arch here that's repeated and repeated. We have our ambulatory or walkway here. We have our clerestory up here. So we have elements still of the Roman architecture that are being carried all the way through into this kind of architecture. And this is why this becomes known as Romanesque. We'll see this. This becomes known as Romanesque architecture. And this brings us to, there are very few women that we know of from this time period, but the ones that we know of that we stop and focus on are all women that were in, you know, a nunnery or something like that. So this is Hyddith from the Hyddith Gospels, and this is her that is being presented here with this book and becoming a saint. This is the early 11th century. And I'm going to stop here and come back with another in just a second.